We got to tear into this front end, this Dana 25. You saw in a previous episode that the pinion and the ring gear had been trashed out of this thing. We've got a mucked up ring gear, see? A little chunk of tooth is out of there. Here. 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 This thing's been used, so the insides of this are gonna have to be replaced someday. This thing's had a tough life, it seems. We're gonna tear into that today. We're gonna get some brakes put on it. We're gonna replace the pinion and the ring gear. We're gonna replace the suspension, the shocks, the leaf springs. Ooh. I've decided I'm just gonna yank that whole front end off, put it out here, set it out here and work on it on my bench. You know, I'm getting tired of climbing underneath this thing. And a fella probably should have just took the tub off this thing in the first place, but he didn't. He was stubborn. All right, let's dig into this, see how it goes. Let's get the girl up in the air. Well, that wasn't high enough. She got a little more articulation in it than I thought. We only got 2 lugs on this side. Somebody broke the others off. Been cruising on 2. 205. It's not bad. Those are fairly decent odds. I wouldn't bet on them. Just get those old springs off there. Pull out these cotter pins. Let's get my trash close by because we're gonna need that. So tell me guys, are coil springs, were they the default? Coilovers on these? I haven't seen these before. This just all rusted up. What do you think? Is this default equipment right here? It's just OE on these DJ-3As, CJ-3As. I haven't seen it before. Let me know. This will go to my recycle buddy. Sheesh. Okay. Just one rusty piece at a time. A fella's got the right equipment to get it out of there. Boom. Removing the Dualmatic hubs. They were very popular from the late 1940s through the 1960s, and they were designed out of Longmont, Colorado. Little fun fact. These early Willys Jeeps, such as the DJ-3A, they actually left the factory with permanently engaged drive flanges. Locking hubs were not a factory standard option. They were almost exclusively dealer installed or aftermarket upgrades. The problem with these solid drive flanges were, even in two-wheel drive, your front wheels were spinning the axle shafts, the differential gears, and the front drive shaft. This wasted gas, wore out parts, and made the steering heavier. The solution? Dualmatic was one of the first aftermarket companies to offer a solution. By installing these, you could disconnect the wheel from the axle, letting the front end freewheel for better highway driving. And what I might find over here. I mean, this one didn't even come out. This one just stripped, I think. At least the retaining washer's still on there. Bent like it's supposed to be. Securing that nut, the axle nut on there, or the hub nut. That's good to see. That wasn't very tight. All right. How those bearings look? Not as bad as the back ones. The seal shot. It's a bad seal in there. Obviously we got some cobwebs. Yeah, well, what did we expect? That's what we expected. That's what we knew. It's a 5/8, right? It's a 9/16, dummy. It's a 9/16, dum-dum. Okay, 6 of these bolts coming out for the backing plate. All right. Now, other than the rusted brake line there, which we probably won't get loose, this is not salvageable. There we go. There's the hub. I should have put towel down because I just cleaned my shop. The backing plate. We're getting all new stuff there. Oh, that doesn't look good, does it? Those marbles in there are ready to come out. Yep, see there? Hope that's not messed up in there. They're already out. Lovely. Hopefully that's still usable. We'll find out, won't we? We're gonna find out. All right, this side's good. Let's go to the other side. Another one. The bearing, pretty dried up. That's no good. That's not going to be any good. Of course not. This is getting replaced. Not going to be using the drum. That thing hasn't had brakes touching it in a long time. Let's get off this backing plate, this brake line. We're just gonna tear that up because we're not gonna be keeping it. Oh, I just burped up some Nashville spicy chicken. That was not good. Yucky. Let's get this backing plate off. Look at that, it doesn't even have shoes on it. I didn't even know. I didn't even notice that. There's no brake shoes on there. What the heck? I didn't even look at the other side. That's got some pads on it. This one doesn't even have pads. Oh, jeez. You see that? No pads. This thing is in some bad shape. This got neglected. We've already got some new drum, a backing plate and drum brakes ready for this. Oy. This is a different style knuckle than the other side, isn't it? What do we got there? Okay. What do we got here? Well, I wasn't expecting that either. There's the, look at that. A broken retainer sitting in the bottom of that. Wow. Got our work cut out for us on this. Wow, wow, wow. All right, let me clean this new mess up. Then we'll take these springs off, drop this axle out, drop the springs, drop the axle, and put the axle up on the sawhorses. Start looking it over. Not even gonna try to unscrew or loosen these U-bolts. They're rusted up. I've been there before. They're just getting zip, 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 zip. You're getting cut off. Much easier. I need to disconnect the U-joint, the drive shaft, and that would be ready to come out of there. There we go. That's what those are for. Got the wore out steering out of there. All right, now it's just time to drop this axle. Drop these leaf springs, if we can. Let's see how much of a booger they're gonna be. You know they're not gonna play nice. You know that. Okay, we're going to put the jack underneath this to hold that axle while I push these bolts out. We're just going to put this, set it on the jack to support it. Well, I guess a fella can just do that by hand. I'm guessing I can just do that right by hand. Look at that. I don't know why I thought I needed a jack for. I don't know. It's getting a little tired, that's all. All right, so the axle's supported. It's going to roll like that, just like we expect it to. We expect it to roll. Let's pop those bolts, get these leaves out of here. Oh. Well, those came out a lot easier than the back ones. Whew, those back ones were miserable. Absolutely miserable. That worked out just like we wanted. I love it when a plan you gotta love it when a plan comes together. Let's take the axle out of the way. Let's scoot her out of here. Why am I working around this? I don't know. I don't know. Why I'm just playing around the axle. Just move it out of the way. Just get it out of your way. Why are you playing around with it back there? It's gonna fall on you, something will happen. There we go. Now we got room. This is called the pivot. This is the pivot and the front's the shackle. You know, on my early models, CJ5, the shackle is here and the pivot's in the front. They switched that up. I think that came from the M38 design. Right, the 2As, the 3As, the 3Bs, and this DJ. You got the shackle here, or you got the pivot in the back on this front side. On that early model CJ5, this is a shackle, and the pivot's up on the front bumper, up by the front bumper. Isn't that interesting that they reversed that? But then I think they changed it back. So a couple examples. The CJ-2A has the shackle in the front and the pivot in the rear. A 1957 CJ5, the very early models had it reversed, has the pivot in the front and the shackle in the rear. And this design is from the M38A 1 military Jeeps. Later, the CJ5 changed that. In 60 CJ5, they changed it back to having shackle in the front and the pivot in the rear. And then I think it stayed like that thereafter. Woohoo! One done. Look at all that nastiness in there. Look at all that build up. Okay, we'll clean that out. Those big turds. There we go. All right, guys, we got this one out too. Just pop that one out. All right, leaf springs are out, drive shaft is out. Let's pop this brake out if we can real quick. We're working on this Dana 25 out of this 58 DJ. The old flat fender back there has had some problems. It's been worked. Somebody put four-wheel drive on it and they used it. I tell you, we know from previous episodes that the pinion and ring gear, it's got some teeth missing on it. That was messed up. These hubs, you know, we've got them stacked up over there. My goal right now is to get this disassembled, get these knuckles off both ends, tear it down, clean it up, and then do an inspection on that. So that's where we're at right now. We need to clean it up so we can inspect what we got here. Let's get some of this stuff off here. We'll get it soaking up. I think this girl was used. she had her own bus stop, so to speak, and she got rode a lot. Let's just leave it there. This knuckle's way looser than that other knuckle over there. Yep, I meant to keep dropping everything. We're gonna reuse these. These are thick and high quality right here, if we can. We'll replace the seal in it, but all right, one knuckle off. Ugh. Looks like the seal in this thing's leaks. Yikes. That thing. That's a mess. That's disgusting. So, these inner seals obviously leak. All right, I'm gonna lay that there for now. Those axle shafts shouldn't be that wet inside here. Here's a seal here and a seal here. Keeps the fluids inside that. The race, the bearing race. That one just popped right out of there. Use an extension, come up through the bottom. Boom. Last thing to remove is the steering stop here and how much steering rotation you have. They welded that one on there, so I'm gonna have to grind that one off there. You see that quite often, this bolt over here. This bolt, it's been welded on. They must have come loose or something back in the day. I always see them welded in place, but I remove them. All right, I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Same procedure, get it tore down to this part, and we'll be back. Well, we're gonna wrap this up tonight. We tore this front end down, this front Dana 25 axle on this 58 DJ-3A. We found lots Lots of items that need to be fixed. I got some parts on order. Next week we'll come back and the parts should be in. We should be able to reassemble and have something ready to go by next week. Anyway, I'm gonna go have some dinner, watch a little bit of the games. We'll be back next week. Hopefully get the front end of this thing and take it for a little scoot if we can. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll talk to you later.